Okay? It's amazing when you read the Gospels how many times, and if you ever want to do a study, how many times that people cross the path of Jesus, and it says that he was moved with compassion. He was moved with compassion when he saw the sick. He was moved with the compassion when he saw the hungry. He was moved with compassion when he saw the lost. He was moved with compassion when he saw the sorrowful who had lost everything. He was moved with compassion throughout the Gospels. So we're going to study this. What is compassion? What does it mean to be moved by it? And how can being moved with compassion motivate us into action? Okay, so that's really summarizes what we're going to talk about. Because see, even though Jesus was moved with compassion when he saw the sick, it motivated him into action because he started healing them. When he was moved with compassion when he seen the hungry, he was motivated into action because he fed them. When he was moved with compassion when he seen the sorrowful who had lost a loved one, he was moved with compassion. He was motivated into action as he loved them in the place. And that's the thing we need to understand, that being moved with compassion, having this emotional empathy and sympathy, it's not enough unless it motivates us into action where we put feet to our faith. It's not enough to look at a world and say, I feel sorry for you. We must show the world the Father's love and step into the messes and say, how can I help? How can I make a difference? Okay? Jesus was constantly healing and teaching and comforting people who were hurting and hopeless and helpless because he was moved with compassion. Compassion is crossing paths and changing places. Crossing paths and changing places. Compassion is stepping into someone else's shoes. Their need becomes your need. Their pain becomes your pain. Their hurt becomes your hurt. Their suffering, that's literally what compassion is. Their suffering becomes your suffering. When Paul said, I am crucified with Christ, what he's saying is, I'm drawn into his suffering. I've died with him that I might live through him. What motivated me to action was I was moved with compassion. You know how they say the passion of Christ? Compassion is stepping into Christ's suffering that we might live a new life through him. Compassion. When you step into the cross is a cause, grace is effect. When you step into the cross of Christ, that's when you truly start to develop the compassion of Christ. You begin to see that, God, you have called me to love the person that is in front of me, the person that you have entrusted to cross my path. They cross my path for a reason, for a purpose. God, you have called me for such a time as this.